The morning sun touched the windows of the small apartment on the 15th floor. Junho opened his eyes and looked at the clock. It was 6:45 in the morning. He got up from his bed and walked to the kitchen. His apartment was tiny, with just one room, a small kitchen, and a bathroom. But it was his home, and he took care of it. He opened the refrigerator and took out a small piece of fish. It was leftover from his dinner 2 days ago. He had been saving it, not for himself, but for his visitor, the strange cat that came to his balcony every single day. Junho heated the fish in a pan and put it in a small bowl. He added some rice and mixed it together. Then he walked to the balcony door and opened it. The cool morning air hit his face. He placed the bowl on the ground near the railing. "Where are you, little one?" he said softly. As if answering his call, a small cat appeared from behind the air conditioning unit. It was not a normal cat. Junho had noticed this from the first day. Its fur was gray, but sometimes it looked silver in the sunlight. Its eyes were bright yellow, almost glowing. The cat was thin, too thin, and it always looked tired. The cat walked slowly to the bowl and started eating. Junho sat down on his old plastic chair and watched. He did this every morning for the past 3 months. He did not know where the cat came from or where it went during the day. He only knew that it needed food, and he could provide that. "You eat like you have not eaten in days," Junho said, "but I feed you every day." The cat looked up at him. For a moment, Junho felt like the cat understood him. Its eyes were too smart, too aware. Normal cats did not look at people like that. But Junho pushed the thought away. He was probably imagining things. He stood up and went back inside to get ready for work. He worked at a convenience store 6 days a week. The pay was not good, but it was enough for rent and food. Barely enough. Some days he ate instant noodles for lunch and dinner. But he always made sure the cat had something to eat. His neighbor, an old woman named Bora, sometimes asked him about the cat. "That thing is strange," she told him one day. "I see it on your balcony all the time. Its eyes glow at night. I have seen it from my window." Junho had laughed. "You are seeing things, grandmother. It is just a street cat." But he knew she was right. He had seen the glow too. Far above Earth, beyond the atmosphere and past the moon, something was happening. Large ships floated in the darkness of space. They were not human ships. They were huge, made of metal that looked like black glass. Inside the largest ship, a tall figure stood in front of a massive window, looking down at the blue planet below. Queen Yura of the Dravix Empire was worried. No, she was more than worried. She was desperate. Her child, her only hatchling, was somewhere on that planet, lost, alone, and time was running out. "Report," she said. Her voice was calm, but everyone in the room could feel the anger beneath it. Commander Taeyong stepped forward. He was her most trusted guard, but even he looked nervous. "We have searched 70% of the major cities. No sign of the hatchling. The energy signature is too weak. We believe the child is using too much power to maintain the disguise." Queen Yura closed her eyes. Her child was only 3 cycles old. Too young to be alone. Too young to control the transformation for so long. When dragons were young, they could change their shape to look like other creatures. But it took energy. A lot of energy. If her child stayed in disguise too long, it would become weak. Maybe too weak to survive. "Continue the search," she said. "Focus on residential areas. My child would look for food and shelter. It would go where there are living beings." "Yes, my queen." Taeyong left the room. Queen Yura stayed at the window, looking at Earth. Somewhere down there, her baby was hungry and scared, and she could not find it. On Earth, in a small office building in Seoul, a woman named Hannah was having a very bad day. She worked as a liaison between Earth and the Galactic Council. It was her job to handle problems between humans and alien species. Usually it was small things, trade disputes, cultural misunderstandings. But this was different. This was a missing royal child. And if they did not find it soon, there would be war. Her phone rang. It was her boss at the Galactic Council. "Status update?" the voice asked. "We are working with the Dravix search teams," Hannah said. "But Earth is a big planet. Billions of humans. millions of animals. Finding one small dragon in disguise is almost impossible. Almost impossible is not good enough. The queen is losing patience. If her child dies on Earth, she will blame humanity. The Dravix Empire has the power to destroy your entire planet. Hannah felt cold. I understand. We will find the hatchling. She hung up and put her head in her hands. How do you find a dragon that looks like something else? A dragon that could be anywhere? Back at Junho's apartment, the cat was still on the balcony. It had finished eating and was now lying in a spot of sunlight. But something was wrong. The cat's breathing was heavy. Its body felt hot, too hot. The small creature closed its eyes and tried to rest. Inside its mind, the hatchling was tired. So very tired. It had been in this form for too long. It missed its mother. It missed home. But it was too weak to call for help. Too weak to change back. All it could do was wait and hope that the kind human would keep feeding it. The hatchling did not understand why this human helped. Back home, in the Empire, no one helped without wanting something in return. But this human asked for nothing. He just gave food and spoke in a soft voice. It made the hatchling feel safe. Junho came back to the balcony before leaving for work. The cat was sleeping. He smiled and pulled a small blanket from inside. He covered the cat gently. "Sleep well, little one," he said. "I will bring you something good tonight." The cat's ear twitched, but it did not open its eyes. Junho locked his apartment and went to work. He did not know that above his city, alien ships were scanning every building. He did not know that a powerful queen was searching desperately for her child. He did not know that the small cat on his balcony was the most important creature in the galaxy right now. He just knew that it was hungry and he could help. And for Junho, that was enough. As the day went on, more ships arrived in Earth's orbit. The search was getting more intense. Time was running out. The hatchling's disguise was failing. Soon, something would have to give. And when it did, nothing would ever be the same again. Commander Taeyong walked through the streets of Seoul. He wore human clothes and looked like any other person. But he was not human. He was a Dravix warrior, one of the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. And right now, he was searching for a child. He held a small device in his hand. It looked like a phone, but it was actually a bioscanner. It could detect dragon energy from up to 5 kilometers away. But the problem was simple. The hatchling was too weak. Its energy was almost gone. The scanner kept showing nothing. Team 3 report, he said quietly into his communication device. "Nothing in the Eastern District." A voice replied, "We have scanned 2,000 buildings. No trace." Taeyong felt frustrated. They had been searching for weeks. How could one small dragon be so hard to find? He looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, his queen was waiting, and she was not a patient woman. At the same time, Junho was at work. The convenience store was quiet today. Only a few customers came in. He stood behind the counter and thought about the cat. It had looked sick this morning. Maybe he should take it to a veterinarian. But that would cost money. Money he did not have. His manager, a man named De Jong, came out from the back room. "You look tired," De Jong said. "Are you sleeping well?" "Yes, I am fine," Junho replied, "just thinking about something." "Well, stop thinking and start working. Clean the shelves." Junho nodded and picked up a cloth. As he cleaned, he heard customers talking. "Did you see the news?" One woman said to another. "Strange lights in the sky again. 3rd time this week. Military exercises." The other woman replied, "That is what they said on TV. I do not believe it. Those lights move too fast. Too strange." Junho listened but did not think much about it. Strange lights did not concern him. He had his own problems. Back at Junho's apartment building, old Bora was watering her plants on her balcony. She lived 2 floors below Junho. She looked up and saw the cat on his balcony. It was lying down, not moving much. Even from this distance, she could see something was wrong with it. "Stupid boy," she muttered. "That animal is sick. He should do something." She went inside and called Junho's phone. It rang several times before he answered. "Hello." Jun-ho, this is Grandmother Bora. That cat on your balcony looks very sick. You should take it to a doctor. I know, Grandmother, but I do not have money for a vet right now. Then let it go. Why are you keeping a sick animal? Jun-ho was quiet for a moment, because no one else will help it. Bora sighed. You are too kind for your own good. But fine. I know a vet who might help for cheap. I will send you his number. Thank you, Grandmother. After work, Jun-ho went home. He was tired and hungry. He had not eaten lunch to save money. When he opened his apartment door, he immediately went to the balcony. The cat was still there, lying in the same spot. It looked worse than this morning. Hey, little one, Jun-ho said softly. He knelt down and touched the cat gently. It was burning hot. You have a fever. The cat opened its eyes. Those strange yellow eyes looked at him with intensity that made him uncomfortable. For a second, just a second, Jun-ho thought he saw something else. Not a cat. Something bigger. Something with scales and wings. He blinked, and the image was gone. Just a sick cat. I am taking you to a doctor tomorrow, he said. Just hold on. He went inside and made some soup. While it cooked, he searched online about sick cats. The website said many things. Infection, disease, poisoning. But nothing explained the heat coming from the cat's body. Nothing explained those glowing eyes. Out of curiosity, he typed something else into the search. Mythical creature Korea. The results showed stories about dragons, tigers with wings, and nine-tailed foxes. Old legends. Stories grandmothers told children. One article caught his attention. It was about dragons in Korean mythology, how they could change shape, how they protected people, how their eyes glowed with inner fire. Jun-ho laughed at himself. I am being stupid. It is just a sick cat. But deep down, a small part of him wondered. High above earth, Queen Yura stood in her private chamber. She was no longer in her human form. Her true form was massive. Scales that shimmered like black diamonds covered her body. Wings that could block out the sun folded against her back. She was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. She closed her eyes and tried to feel her child. Dragons had a connection with their offspring, a bond that could not be broken. But the connection was so weak now, like a candle about to go out. My baby, she whispered. Where are you? A door opened. Hannah walked in. She bowed deeply. Even though she worked with aliens every day, being in the presence of a dragon queen was frightening. Your Majesty, I have news. Speak. We detected a small energy spike in the southern district of Seoul. It only lasted a few seconds, but it matches dragon energy. For the first time in days, hope appeared in the queen's eyes. Show me the location. Hannah pulled up a holographic map. A red that appeared on a residential building. Here, apartment building, 15 floors. The energy came from one of the upper floors. Send teams immediately. Queen Yura commanded. Already done, Your Majesty. But I must warn you, the energy was very weak. It might be a false reading. Or it might be my child dying, the queen said coldly. I will not take that chance. Within minutes, 3 ships moved toward the location. But they had to be careful. They could not just land in the middle of the city. Humans would panic. So they sent their people on foot, disguised as normal humans. Commander Taeyong was leading the team. He walked toward the apartment building with 5 other warriors. They all carried scanners. As they got closer, the scanners showed something. A faint signal. Very faint, but it was there. Spread out, Taeyong ordered. Search every floor. Carefully. We do not want to scare the hatchling. The team split up. 2 warriors stayed outside. The others went inside the building. They went from floor to floor, knocking on doors, pretending to be government workers checking water pipes. Most people let them in. They scanned quickly and moved on. Nothing. 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 Then they reached the 15th floor. Meanwhile, Jun-ho was sitting on his balcony with the cat. He had brought his dinner outside. Rice and kimchi. Not much, but it was food. The cat was not eating anymore. It just lay there, breathing slowly. Please be okay, Jun-ho said. I will take you to the vet tomorrow morning. I promise." The cat's ear twitched. Its eyes opened slightly. And for just a moment, something happened. The air around the cat shimmered. The fur seemed to fade, and underneath, Junho saw scales. Tiny, shimmering scales. And the tail, the normal cat tail, split into something else. Something with spikes. Junho froze. His mind could not process what he was seeing. Then, just as quickly as it appeared, the image was gone. The cat looked normal again. "I am going crazy," Junho said to himself. "I need to sleep." But he could not shake the image from his mind. He had seen something impossible. At that exact moment, Commander Taiyang's scanner went crazy. The device beeped loudly. Dragon energy. Close. Very close. He looked up. The signal was coming from above, from one of the apartments on this floor. He checked the apartment numbers. There were 6 apartments on this floor. The signal was coming from one of them. But which one? He knocked on the first door. An old man answered. Taeyong scanned quickly. Nothing. He moved to the next door. A young couple. Nothing. Third door. A family with kids. Nothing. Then he reached Junho's door. He knocked. No answer. He knocked again. Still nothing. He was about to move on when his scanner beeped again. The signal was strong here. Stronger than anywhere else. He knocked harder. "Hello? Anyone home?" Inside, Junho heard the knocking. He was still on the balcony. Who could that be, he wondered. He went to the door and opened it. A tall man stood there, well-dressed, professional-looking. "Good evening. I am from the City Water Department. We are checking pipes. May I come in?" Junho hesitated. "Right now? It is almost night. It will only take a minute." Something felt wrong, but Junho did not want to be rude. "Okay, come in." Taeyong stepped inside. His scanner was going crazy. The dragon energy was here, in this apartment. He looked around quickly. Small apartment. Clean. Poor but organized. Where was the hatchling? Then he saw the open balcony door. He walked toward it. "The pipes are in the bathroom," Junho said, confused. Taeyong ignored him. He stepped onto the balcony. And there, lying on a blanket, was a small cat. A cat with glowing yellow eyes. A cat that was staring directly at him. Their eyes met. The cat's eyes widened in fear. Taeyang's eyes widened in shock. He had found the hatchling. Taeyong stood frozen on the balcony. His trained warrior mind was processing everything in seconds. The hatchling was here, alive, but barely. He could see how weak it was, how sick. The disguise was failing. This child would not survive another day without help. Junho came up behind him. "What are you doing?" "The bathroom is that way." Taeyong turned to look at him. This human had no idea what he had been taking care of. No idea that he had been feeding the most important child in the Dravix Empire. No idea that war had almost started because of this small creature. "This cat," Taeyong said slowly. "Where did you find it?" "I did not find it. It came to my balcony 3 months ago." "Why?" "Is something wrong?" 3 months. The hatchling had been missing for 3 months. And this human had been feeding it every single day. Taeyong looked at the food bowl. Still had some rice and fish in it. Fresh water in another bowl. A blanket. This human had been caring for the hatchling like it was precious. "Sir, I need you to step back," Taeyong said. He reached for his communication device. Junho felt afraid now. "What is going on? Who are you really?" Before Taeyong could answer, the cat moved. It stood up on shaking legs. Its eyes were glowing brighter now. And it made a sound. Not a meow. A low rumble. Like distant thunder. "No, little one," Taeyong said in the dragon language. "Stay calm. I am here to help." The cat hissed. It stumbled backward, closer to Junho. The human was the only one it trusted. The only one who had been kind. Junho watched in shock as the cat's body started to change. The fur began to shimmer and fade. The small body grew larger. Scales appeared, shimmering like silver in the evening light. Wings, small and delicate, unfolded from its back. The face changed. becoming longer, more reptilian. In seconds, the cat was gone. In its place stood a creature from legends, a dragon. Small, no bigger than a large dog, but definitely a dragon. It had 4 legs, 2 wings, a long tail with spikes, and a face that was both beautiful and terrifying. Its scales were silver white, and its eyes still glowed that same yellow color. Junho's legs gave out. He fell to his knees. His mind could not accept what he was seeing. This is not real. This cannot be real. The small dragon made a weak, crying sound. It collapsed on the balcony floor, breathing heavily. The transformation had taken the last of its energy. Taeyong immediately knelt beside it. Foolish child, why did you transform? You are too weak. He touched the hatchling gently, checking its condition. It was bad, very bad. What is that thing? Junho whispered. This is the child of Queen Yura of the Dravix Empire, Taeyong said without looking at him. You've been feeding a royal dragon for 3 months. A dragon, a real dragon. Yes, and it is dying. Those words cut through Junho's shock. Dying. The small creature that had visited him every day, that had trusted him, that had depended on him. It was dying. Help it, Junho said. Please, do something. Taeyong looked at him with surprise. This human had just discovered that dragons were real, that aliens existed, that everything he knew about the universe was wrong. And his first reaction was to ask for help for the creature. Not to run, not to attack, but to help. I need to call the queen, Taeyong said. He spoke into his device in a language Junho could not understand. Within seconds, there was a flash of light on the balcony. Junho had to close his eyes. When he opened them again, there was a woman standing there. She was tall, with long black hair and eyes that seemed to glow. She wore clothes that looked expensive and strange. But what caught Junho's attention was her face. It was full of pain and relief at the same time. My baby, Queen Yura said. She rushed to the small dragon and picked it up carefully. The hatchling made a weak sound and pressed against her. My precious baby. I found you. I finally found you. Junho watched as the powerful woman held the small dragon like it was made of glass. She was crying, actual tears running down her face. He had never seen such raw emotion before. Mother, the hatchling spoke. The voice was small and tired, but it came directly into everyone's mind. Hungry. So hungry. I know, my love. I know. We will get you home. We will heal you. The queen looked up at Taeyong. Prepare the medical bay. Contact the healers immediately. Tell them. Wait, the hatchling said. Its voice was weak but insistent. The human, the kind human. Queen Yura's eyes fell on Junho for the first time. He was still on his knees, looking confused and scared. She stood up, still holding her child, and walked toward him. Junho wanted to run, but his body would not move. You, the queen said. Her voice was like thunder. You are the one who fed my child. Junho could barely speak. I did not know. I thought it was just a cat. A hungry cat. Just a cat, the queen repeated. She studied him carefully. This human wore cheap clothes. His apartment was tiny. She could see he did not have much money. Yet he had fed her child every single day. Why did you help it? Because it was hungry. Junho said simply, it needed help. You gained nothing from this. I did not want to gain anything. I could not let it starve. Queen Yura was silent for a long moment. She looked at the food bowl, the water, the blanket, all cheap things, but they were given with care, with kindness. This human had not known he was helping royalty. He had not known there would be a reward. He had simply seen a hungry creature and helped. In the Dravix Empire, such actions were rare. Everything was calculated. Every kindness had a price. But this human had asked for nothing. More lights flashed. More people appeared on the small balcony. Hannah arrived, looking stressed. Several Dravix warriors in their true forms appeared, making the balcony very crowded. The warriors wanted to take the hatchling to the medical ship immediately. No, the hatchling said weakly. Scared. Want to stay. Safe here. My child, we need to take you to the healers, Queen Yura said gently. Safe here. The human. Kind human. Please. Queen Yura looked at Junho again. Her child felt safe with this stranger. This poor human who had nothing. Her child trusted him more than the royal guards. Very well, she said. We will bring the medical equipment here. Taeyong looked shocked. Your Majesty, this apartment is too small. We cannot. I said we will bring the equipment here. The Queen's voice was final. My child wants to stay. So we stay. Within minutes, the small apartment was transformed. Medical devices that looked like they belonged in a science fiction movie appeared. Healers in strange clothes arrived. They examined the hatchling carefully while Queen Yura held it. Junho sat in the corner of his own apartment, watching everything. His simple, boring life had just become impossible. Dragons were real, aliens were real, and they were all in his living room. Hannah came to sit beside him. You look like you are in shock. That is because I am in shock, Junho replied. I am Hannah. I work with the Galactic Council. I know this is a lot to process. Galactic Council. Of course. Why not? Junho laughed, but it sounded slightly crazy. This morning I woke up thinking my biggest problem was paying rent. Now, there are dragons in my apartment. You saved that dragon's life, Hannah said. Do you understand that? The hatchling would have died without you. I just gave it food. That is all it needed. Food, care, kindness. Hannah smiled. You're a good person. Junho, one of the healers, came over to Queen Yura. Your Majesty, the child will survive. But it was very close. A few more days and we would have lost it. The human's regular feeding kept it alive. Queen Yura looked at Junho across the room. This simple human. This poor, kind human. He had saved her child. He had saved her bloodline. He had prevented a war, without even knowing it. She walked over to him. Junho stood up quickly, almost falling over. What is your name? The Queen asked. Junho, Your Majesty. He did not know if that was the right title, but it seemed appropriate. Junho, you have done something incredible. You saved the life of my only child, the heir to the Dravix Empire. Do you understand what this means? Not really, no. Despite everything, Queen Yura smiled. It means you have earned the eternal gratitude of my people. It means you have changed the course of history. And it means that nothing will ever be the same again. Junho looked at the small dragon being cared for by the healers. It looked back at him with those glowing yellow eyes. The same eyes that had watched him from a balcony every morning. The same creature he had worried about. The same friend he had made without knowing it. Is it going to be okay? He asked. Yes, Queen Yura said. Thanks to you, my child will live. And for Junho, that was all that mattered. The night was long. Healers worked on the small dragon for hours. They gave it medicine, fluids, and energy treatments. Junho watched from his small kitchen, still trying to understand everything. His apartment was full of aliens, real aliens, and they were saving the life of a dragon on his balcony. Queen Yura never left her child's side. She held its small claw and whispered words in a language Junho could not understand, but he understood the emotion. Every parent in the world knew that fear, that desperate need to protect their child. Around midnight, the head healer finally smiled. The hatchling is stable, Your Majesty. It will make a full recovery. Queen Yura closed her eyes. Relief washed over her face. Thank you, all of you. The small dragon was sleeping now, breathing peacefully. Its silver scales shimmered in the soft light. It looked so small, so fragile. Junho found it hard to believe this tiny creature was the cause of all this chaos. Queen Yura stood and walked to where Junho was sitting. He immediately tried to stand, but she gestured for him to stay seated. May I sit? She asked. Of course. This is your... yes, please sit. She sat in his old plastic chair. A queen worth more than entire planets. Sitting in a chair that cost less than a meal. She looked tired. The royal composure was gone. She just looked like a mother who had almost lost her child. Tell me, she said quietly. When you first saw my child, what did you think? Junho thought back to 3 months ago. I thought it was a stray cat, hungry and alone. It looked at me with those eyes, and I felt like I had to help. You are not wealthy. I can see that. Yet you fed it every day. I ate less. It was okay. I have lived on less food before. Queen Yura stared at him. You gave up your own food to feed a creature you did not know. Why? Junho shrugged. It was the right thing to do. My mother always said that if you can help someone, you should, even if it costs you something. Your mother was wise. She passed away 3 years ago, but I try to remember what she taught me. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Queen Yura spoke again. In my empire, such kindness is rare. We are strong, powerful. We have conquered many worlds. But somewhere along the way, we forgot how to be kind without reason. Everything became about power, about gain, about strategy. She looked at her sleeping child. When my baby disappeared, I was ready to destroy your entire world. I thought humans had taken it, imprisoned it, hurt it. I was so angry. Junho felt cold. You have destroyed Earth. Yes, without hesitation. That is how we think. That is how we have always thought. She turned to him. But then I find my child here, in a tiny apartment, being cared for by a man who is nothing, a man who asks for nothing. And I realize something. What? That my empire has become cruel. We have forgotten what it means to simply be good. Before Junho could respond, Hannah rushed in. Your Majesty, the Galactic Council is requesting an emergency meeting. They want to discuss what happened. Queen Yura stood. Very well. Prepare the connection. Within minutes, a holographic screen appeared in Junho's living room. On it were faces of different aliens. Some looked human. Some definitely did not. They all looked serious. An alien with blue skin spoke first. Queen Yura, we are relieved that your child has been found. Can you explain the circumstances? Queen Yura gestured to Junho. This human has been caring for my child for 3 months. He fed it daily, gave it shelter, protected it, without knowing what it was. The council members looked at Junho. He felt very small under their gaze. A woman who looked human spoke next. This was Ambassador Kyung, Earth's representative. This is remarkable. Junho represents the best of humanity, our capacity for compassion. Compassion? Another alien said. He had gray skin and no nose. Or stupidity? He wasted resources on an unknown creature. It was not a waste. Junho said suddenly. Everyone looked at him. He had not meant to speak, but the words came out anyway. It was hungry. That is all that mattered. You see, Ambassador Kyung said, humans do not calculate kindness. They simply give it. That makes them weak, the gray alien argued. Does it? Queen Yura's voice was sharp. My empire is strong. We have weapons that can destroy stars. We have conquered hundreds of worlds. But we cannot find one small child. This weak human found my baby and kept it alive when all our strength and technology failed. The council was silent. Queen Yura continued. I came to Earth ready for war. I believed humans were primitive, cruel, unworthy. But I was wrong. This human showed me something I had forgotten existed. Kindness without reason. Help without payment. Compassion without calculation. Were you saying, Your Majesty? Another council member asked. I am saying that humanity has something valuable. Something my people lost long ago. And I believe they deserve protection, recognition, respect. Ambassador Kyung looked shocked. Are you proposing an alliance? Yes. The Dravix Empire formally offers friendship to Earth. We will share our technology, our knowledge, our protection. In return, we ask only that humans teach us what we have forgotten, how to be kind. The council erupted in discussion. Some agreed, some disagreed. Junho just stood there, confused. All of this because he fed a cat? The meeting lasted for hours. Junho fell asleep in his chair. When he woke up, it was morning. The holographic screen was gone. Most of the aliens were gone. Only Queen Yura Taeyong, Hannah, and a few healers remained. The small dragon was awake. It was sitting on the balcony, looking much healthier. When it saw Junho, it made a happy chirping sound. "It wants to see you," Queen Yura said. Junho walked to the balcony slowly. The dragon watched him with intelligent eyes. He knelt down, and the dragon moved closer. It nuzzled his hand, just like it used to do when it was pretending to be a cat. "Hello, little one," Junho said softly. "You look better." "Thank you." The dragon's voice appeared in his mind. It was clearer now, stronger. "You saved me, fed me, cared for me. I will never forget." Junho smiled. "You do not have to thank me. I am just glad you are okay. You are a good human. The best human." Queen Yura came to stand beside them. "My child has chosen a name. In your language, it means sky. Hanul." "Hanul," Junho repeated. "That is a beautiful name. It wants to visit you, even after we return home. Is that acceptable?" Junho looked at the small dragon, at Hanul, the creature he had fed for months without knowing what it truly was. "Of course. You are always welcome here, Hanul." The dragon made a happy sound and curled up next to him. Later that day, the news spread across Earth. Aliens were real. Dragons were real. And a convenience store worker from Seoul had accidentally prevented a war by feeding a stray cat. Reporters came to Junho's building. Government officials wanted to talk to him. Scientists wanted to study him. Everyone wanted something. But Junho just wanted his quiet life back. Queen Yura understood. She placed a protection order around him. No one could bother him without permission. No one could force him to do anything. "You gave my child safety," she said. "I will give you the same." "Thank you, Your Majesty. Please call me Yura. We are friends now." Junho nodded. Friends with the Dragon Queen. His mother would not believe this. The Galactic Council voted. Earth would be recognized as a protected world. The Dravix Empire would be their guardians. Technology sharing would begin slowly. Cultural exchange programs were planned. Ambassador Kyung stood before the world and gave a speech. "Today, humanity joins the galactic community, not because of our weapons, not because of our strength, but because of our compassion." One man showed kindness to a stranger, and that kindness changed everything. In his small apartment, Junho watched the speech on TV. Hanul was sitting next to him, eating fish that Queen Yura had brought. Very expensive fish, apparently. But Hanul said it was not as good as the cheap fish Junho used to make. "You know," Junho said to the small dragon, "my life was very simple before you came." "Sorry," Hanul said, not sounding sorry at all. "It is okay. Simple was boring anyway." They sat together, watching the world change. And Junho realized something. Sometimes the smallest actions have the biggest results. He had just wanted to feed a hungry cat. He never imagined it would change the entire galaxy. But that was okay, because at the end of the day, Hanul was safe, and that was all that mattered. 6 months had passed since that night when everything changed. The world was different now. Ships from other planets visited Earth regularly. Technology that seemed like magic became normal. Humans learned they were not alone in the universe. And it all started because one man fed a hungry cat. Junho's life had changed too, but not in the way people expected. The government offered him money. Lots of money. Companies wanted to make him their spokesperson. Universities wanted to give him honorary degrees. Everyone wanted a piece of the man who saved the dragon and changed history. He said no to almost everything. He still lived in his small apartment on the 15th floor. He still worked at the convenience store, though his manager Dim now treated him with strange respect. He still ate simple food and lived a simple life. "You could be rich," Hannah told him one day. She visited often now. They had become friends. "Why do you stay here?" Junho looked around his tiny apartment. "Because this is my home. Money will not make me happier." "You are a strange man, Junho." "Maybe, but I am happy." And he was, because every week, like clockwork, Hanul came to visit. The small dragon was growing. Not much, since dragon children grew slowly, but definitely bigger. Hanul was now the size of a medium dog. The silver scales had become brighter, more beautiful, and the bond between dragon and human had grown stronger. On this particular morning, Junho was preparing breakfast when he heard a familiar sound on his balcony, a happy chirping. He smiled and opened the door. Hanul was there, wings spread, looking proud. I flew all the way from the ship by myself. That is amazing, Junho said. You are getting so strong. Mother says I am the fastest flyer in my generation. Watch. Hanul jumped off the balcony and flew in circles around the building. Other people looked up and waved. They were used to seeing the dragon now. Some even took pictures. Hanul landed back on the balcony, looking pleased. Did you see? Did you see? I saw. You are incredible. Junho had prepared grilled fish. It had become their tradition. Every visit, they shared a meal on the balcony, just like the old days when Hanul was pretending to be a cat. As they ate, Hanul talked about life on the Dravik ships, about lessons with other dragon children, about learning to breathe fire, which Hanul was not very good at yet, about missing Earth, missing this balcony, missing Junho. You can visit anytime, Junho said. You know that. I know, but I wish I could stay longer. Mother says I have responsibilities, royal duties. Hanul sounded sad. Being a prince is hard work, huh? Very hard. Everyone expects me to be perfect. But when I am here, I can just be me. Junho understood. He put his hand on Hanul's head, scratching behind the small horns. The dragon made a content rumbling sound. You will always have a place here, Junho said, no matter how important you become. Later that day, Queen Yura herself came to visit. She did this sometimes, always in her human form, always respectful of Junho's privacy. She brought gifts, though Junho always felt uncomfortable accepting them. Today she brought tea, expensive tea from a planet Junho could not pronounce. They sat on his balcony, Hanul between them, and talked about everything and nothing. The alliance is going well, Yura said. Humans are learning our technology faster than we expected. Your scientists are brilliant. That is good. And we are learning from humans too. Your art, your music, your stories. My people had forgotten how to create beauty. We only knew how to create power. Junho poured more tea. Everyone has something to teach, something to learn. Yura smiled. Wise words. You would make a good diplomat. No, thank you. I am happy selling snacks and cleaning shelves. Still at that convenience store? Yes. Daeyoung needs me. We are a team. Yura shook her head, but she was smiling. She understood now. Junho was not interested in fame or power. He just wanted to live his life and help where he could. It was this quality that had saved her child. This simple, pure kindness. The Galactic Council wants to give you a medal, Yura said. A ceremony. Very formal. Very important. Do I have to go? It would be nice if you did. But no, you do not have to. Junho thought about it. Will there be many people? Thousands. And it will be broadcast across the galaxy. Then no, thank you. I do not like crowds. Yura laughed. It was a real laugh, warm and genuine. You are the only person in the universe who would refuse a galactic medal. I did not do anything special. I just fed a hungry cat. That hungry cat was my child. And your kindness saved not just Hanul, but prevented a war. Millions of lives were saved because of you. Junho had heard this before, but it still felt strange. He had not been trying to save millions. He had just been trying to help one small creature. Down below, on the street, life continued. People walked to work. Children played. Cars drove by. Earth had joined the galactic community. But daily life remained mostly the same. People still had jobs, still had families, still had problems and joys. Ambassador Kyung often said in her speeches that this was humanity's strength, the ability to adapt, to accept the impossible and make it normal, to remain human even when everything changed. At the convenience store, Junho's co-worker Mina asked him about life with aliens. Is it scary, knowing there are such powerful beings out there? No, Junho said. They are just people. Different people, but still people. They have families. They love their children. They get scared and sad and happy, just like us. But they can destroy planets. And we can show kindness to strangers. Everyone has their own power. Mina thought about that. I guess that is true. An old customer, Grandmother Bora, came in to buy milk. She looked at Junho with pride. I knew that cat was special, she said. I told you. Glowing eyes. You were right, Grandmother. Of course I was right. I am always right. She paid for her milk and left, looking satisfied. Junho smiled. Some things never changed. That evening, Hanul had to leave. Queen Yura was hosting a diplomatic dinner, and Hanul was expected to attend. The young dragon did not want to go. Politics is boring, Hanul complained. I want to stay here and watch movies with you. You have responsibilities, Junho said gently. Important ones, but you can visit again next week. Promise? Promise. I will make your favorite fish. Hanul hugged him, wrapping small wings around his shoulders. You are my best friend, Junho, forever. And you are mine, little sky dragon, forever. Queen Yura watched them with soft eyes. Her child had found something precious on Earth. Not just a friend, but a connection that transcended species and worlds. It gave her hope. Hope that the alliance between Draviks and humans would last. Hope that her people could learn to be kind again. As they prepared to leave, Yura turned to Junho one last time. Thank you for everything. You do not have to keep thanking me. Yes, I do. Every day. Because you gave me back my child. And you taught me what true strength looks like. They left in a flash of light, leaving Junho alone on his balcony. He looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, among the stars, were the Dravik ships. And beyond them, countless other worlds and beings. But here, on his small balcony, in his tiny apartment, Junho was content. He had made a difference, not through power or wealth or fame, but through the simple act of feeding a hungry stranger. Years would pass. The alliance would grow stronger. Humans would travel to other worlds. Dragons would walk among humans as friends. Technology would advance. Culture would blend. The galaxy would change. And historians would study it all. They would analyze the political decisions, the technological exchanges, the military agreements. They would write books about the moment Earth joined the stars. But those who really understood knew the truth. It was not politics or technology that changed everything. It was not weapons or treaties or grand speeches. It was one man who saw a hungry creature and chose to help. One man who gave up his own food to feed a stranger. One man who asked for nothing in return. Junho never considered himself a hero. He still went to work every day. Still ate simple meals. Still lived in his small apartment. Still fed any stray animals that came to his balcony. Because for him, it was never about changing the world. It was never about making history. It was just about doing what was right. About being kind when it cost something. About helping when no one was watching. And somehow, that simple philosophy had changed the galaxy. The stars shined above. Ships moved through space. Different species learned to live together. All because one human fed a dragon, thinking it was just a cat. And in his apartment, Junho made himself a simple dinner of rice and kimchi. He sat on his balcony and looked at the stars. He smiled. Tomorrow, Hanul would visit again. They would share fish and stories. They would laugh and talk about nothing important. And that was enough. That was everything.